I am honored to be joining you all today for this graduation ceremony at one of the world's most prestigious universities, and being here with you and wearing my university gown for the first time in 20 years. It makes me think of my own graduation, where I knelt on the cushion in the Senate House in Cambridge and offered up my hands in prayer. And the Vice Chancellor put his hands around me and muttered something in Latin. That's what they speak up in Cambridge. And that moment of qualifying as a medical doctor and with a PhD was the end of my medical career. And it was the beginning of a new journey that 20 years later brings me here to a different Senate House and standing before all of you today. It was 20 years ago that I ended my career in medicine, but it was a year before that when I knew it was going to happen. A sudden, remarkable moment of clarity on an otherwise unremarkable day. I call it my unlock moment. A moment of such blinding clarity that even 20 years on, I can remember where I was, who I was with, what I was thinking when that unlock moment happened. For years, I had been uncertain, unsure, unhappy in my medical studies, never feeling as though I was quite in the right place or doing the right thing. And then that day, 1 year before graduating, I was simply walking down the corridor in my PhD laboratory, and one clear thought entered my mind like a bolt of lightning on a dark night. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I wasn't searching for it. The thought just landed like a hammer. And right there, in that moment, I knew something I didn't know before. A dazzling clarity that cleared the fog of uncertainty that had enveloped my career for years. And what was clear then would be forever clear. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. My unlock moment was not an answer. It was not a solution. It was not a plan. It was simply permission. Permission to choose, permission to change, permission to take control of the path ahead, permission to find a different route to success, permission even to fail in that quest and to own the failure. Psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom." In pursuit of fulfillment, in pursuit of happiness and pursuit of balance, my path has indeed been winding. Initially into consulting, then into retail strategy, with a parallel journey as a professional ballroom dancer. And in the last few years, another new chapter as a speaker, a coach, an author, and a podcaster. Standing in a dance studio in just north of Bologna in Italy, my ballroom coach, Davide, taught me a powerful lesson. He watched my inner doubt take over again as I attempted a complex piece of choreography. Then he asked me to do it again, but this time leaning as far over to the left as possible, all the way around the room. I felt like an idiot dancing in this distorted way in front of all the other professional dancers. And then he said, "Do it again, but now leaning over to the right as far as possible, distorted again." And when we finished, he said, "Your job is to choose how you dance. It doesn't matter if you choose to dance the steps right or choose to dance the steps wrong. It's always your choice. Don't worry about what other people think of your dancing. You can't control how they feel. All you can do is choose to dance your way. They can choose whether to like it or not." In that moment, I let go of the fear of being judged. I stopped obsessing about the opinions of others. I started thinking more about the person I wanted to be. and I began making bolder choices. And the feedback from the judges, when I stopped trying to please them and started executing my own style, now you're finally listening. This is the dancing we've been trying to get out of you for years. It's the same in your life and career. People are rarely short of an opinion on the right path to choose. What do you want to do that for? That's never going to work. Study hard, keep your head down, don't rock the boat. But the gift the universe gave me in my unlocked moment was that remarkable clarity that was never again unclear. For whatever I was doing, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. My purpose is about finding freedom and helping others to find freedom. It's about curiosity, growth, and impact. But it was only recently when I put everything together that I was able to figure that out. That finding freedom is my deepest underlying sense of purpose. Society makes us feel that some paths are better than others. Doctor, lawyer, engineer, professor, CEO. But here, in simplicity, is the truth. There are always multiple paths. Only you can choose the one that's right for you. When I was approached to join the executive team of Selfridges Group in an interim capacity, I had recently come out from a bruising 6 years in crisis management and turnaround at Mothercare, hard hit by the early stages of what would go on to be called the retail apocalypse. I knew that I didn't want to go back into that crisis environment, but Selfridges was a very different proposition, a hugely successful, stable, profitable, and iconic retailer. I accepted the offer and proudly walked up Oxford Street on my first day to take my place on the leadership team. I imagined all the things we were going to do with serious money to invest, the pick of the top retail talent in the country, an iconic brand overflowing with customers and with big ambitions for the future. It was the 3rd of February, 2020. 6 weeks later, we closed the Selfridges store as the COVID pandemic took hold and the business was never the same again. Back in crisis mode, this was a place I knew, a place I found familiar, and a place where I was very effective, but it wasn't a place I wanted to be. And when I finished my contract, I thought of Viktor Frankl. I found some space and contemplated my choices ahead. And I reminded myself of my unlocked moment. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. And then I asked myself one simple question. What is the part of your work that you love more than any other? The answer was simple. Time with people in coaching and mentoring conversations, and being on a stage, reaching people with powerful stories and ideas to inspire them, to challenge them, and to reframe their thinking. I went back to school to learn how to be a coach. In my first year after Selfridges, I took a 90% pay cut in pursuit of my goals. It's been the hardest thing I've ever done in business to build my practice over the last 5 years, and I've never been happier. And now with the Unlock Moment podcast, I'm finding I'm not the only one to have had unlock moments. And I'm learning how exploring unlocked moments helps people see themselves through a new lens to make powerful new connections and understand their deepest underlying sense of purpose. Figuring out the path ahead takes time. So give your brain the space and time to do the thinking it needs to do. And ask questions, lots of questions. Don't worry if you don't have the answers yet. If you ask good questions, the answers will come, maybe when you least expect them. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and our freedom. As you graduate today with your MBAs, I invite you to go back out into the world with a renewed sense of purpose. Think back over your life and career path and explore your own unlocked moments, those moments of remarkable clarity when you suddenly figured out the path ahead. And my question for you to reflect on is this. In your unlocked moment, what did you know for the first time? And how does that knowing connect with what you do today, or perhaps what you should be doing today? And in the face of the myriad opinions of others on what constitutes the right path, remember that simple truth. There are always multiple paths. Only you can choose the one that's right for you. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you so much for allowing me to share in your amazing day. Thank you so much.